Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and reviewing another Steven Seagal film, and after me rewatching Fire Down Below, go back to one of his earlier ones, from 1990, be reviewing of Steven Seagal is Marked for Death. Now, Marked for Death was released in 1990, and this is the only film that Seagal did that was released by 20th Century Fox. Because most of all from his late 80s to all to the late 90s and 2000 early 2000s like two Eggs and Wounds, that was 2001. And then all of those have been released by under Warner Brothers, but this is the only one they did that Steven Seagal did was one done by 20th Century Fox. Because and then when this film came out, it was a hit. Made about 46 million U.S., worldwide 58 million. So it was a very successful film. It was number one for like about 3 weeks in a row. So this was a hit for Steven Seagal, because then the next year after this, he was starting his biggest hit, which was the first Under Siege movie. And this is the time when Steven Seagal was really rolling out in films, starting from his debut from Above the Law, then with Hard to Kill, then this film was a hit, and then later the next year after this was his biggest hit, which was Under Siege. And he was becoming popular, And then of course then in 94, which started to take a turning point when he did Undeadly Ground, which I did like the movie though, but with the critics and box office wise, it was a tanker for Steven Seagal. That's why I already talked about Steven Seagal, but the thing is though, this was a hit though, and this is why he was starting to become more popular, right? Just pre Under Siege, and this is I think Steven Seagal did a good job in this movie. He still did, because I always enjoyed his golden movies, and he did a good job in this film. And it's directed by Dwight H. Little, who directed Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. Phantom of the Opera was the one with Robert Englund I wasn't really big on though. And then he would later go on to direct with the sequel to Anaconda called Anacondas, Hunt for the Blood Orchid. And speaking with Dwight with Halloween 4, Danielle Harris, who plays Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5, he plays his Steven Seagal's niece. Let's see Danielle Harris in this, but all those kind of weird though, because during when the bad guys shoot because Steven Seagal's sister, Danielle Harris's niece, they get shot up and Danielle Harris is put into a hospital, and then after that she just disappeared after that for the rest of the movie. So we don't know, because she got very injured. Either she was in critical condition, so we don't know if she was all right afterwards. After that, in the hospital, you don't see her again for the rest of the movie after that. So I'm like, okay, we do not know that she's doing better or she's still alive in the hospital. We do not know. So that's like a strange thing, a nitpick, I would say. But Dwight H. Little, which he also directed Tekken, from the video game series Tekken, which I liked as well. Not loved by everybody though, but I liked Tekken. Although I never played the video game though, but still, as a film. Yeah, so Dwight H. Little, I think he did a good job with this film, just like he did with Halloween 4, And I think that Steven Seagal, why he wanted Dwight H. Little to direct this film, because he saw Halloween 4. I'm like, that's a weird thing for me, because do I buy Steven Seagal sitting down and really watching Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers? I'm like, do I really buy Steven Seagal really literally sit down to watch Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers, and that's why he liked the movie? That's why he got director Dwight H. Little directed Marked for Death. really weird and find that hard to see for that. But still, the film was a hit overall, though, and it's on for 93 minutes. But it goes it does go at a very good pace, and the score by James Newton Howard. James Newton Howard will later go and direct, just do the scores for like The Fugitive and Space Jam, and among other movies, that I've liked from him. So I think James Newton Howard did a good job with the score. Among other supporting cast members, Keith David, which I've always enjoyed Keith David. I think he's a fun but underrated actor, which of course he was starring in John Carpenter's The Thing and They Live, Volcano. Of course, like I said, voices Goliath from Disney's Gargoyles. I've always enjoyed Keith David as an actor, and he did a good job in this movie. He plays as a friend of Steven Seagal, and the whole logistics of it is it's straightforward. It's Jamaican drug lords, basically. That's what it is. Which is kind of funny because this is 1990, and this was released in October 1990. So like the next month, you have Predator 2, which also dealt with Jamaican drug lords. And also which also released by 20th Century Fox. So I guess 20th Century Fox wanted to do two films that dealt with different drug lords, I guess. Funny as that. But the difference is there is no King Willie in this. So, but you have your bad guy in this film, Screwface, played by Basil. Is it Basil? Basil William, or was it Basil Wallace? Yeah, Basil Wallace as Screwface. Yeah, I think he did a good job as a really good job as the bad guy. He just be by him as an intimidating villain because, he does also with doing voodoo stuff as well. And just with those eyes he has, though, it's that, those wide eyes that he has. So you buy him, I bought him as an intimidating villain. And of course, when you find out towards the end, which he plays the same actor as plays twins. There are twins in this movie, and this is how Steven Seagal, how he just hands their asses over for the first one. I mean, game before that though, like we see this opening chase in this what was it, Mexico, I think. Because Steven Seagal, we see him, he's chasing Danny Trejo. Was it? No, it wasn't Mexico. It was Colombia. But we see him chasing Danny Trejo, which is, of course, 20 years later, in 2010, Machete. Which that was a letdown fight, A lot better than Machete. But okay, Danny Trejo. it's like the good guy it's like the reverse effect. Steven Seagal good guy, Danny Trejo bad guy, right? Then the reverse effect in Machete. After they ties him up and just throws him in the trunk, and then he also had a partner who got shot by this naked hooker, and Steven Seagal knows how to shoot her. And then after he gets back, he's like kind of done, right? And he's talking to Peter Jason, another guy who's appeared in a lot of other John Carpenter movies as well. It tells just take some time off, So he goes back home in Chicago. He's with his niece and his sister. Then he later goes talks with Keith David, who coaches football as well, and fill him inside on some of those drug cartels, the Jamaicans. and the Jamaicans dealing with another rival gang with the Colombians. And we see the Screwface, takes out him and his guys take out this gang of Colombians before he kills this woman who the leader of the Colombian drug lord asked for like some psychic help, right, and then or voodoo help, but that with that woman, Screwface captures her and just kills her off screen. And first, Seagal doesn't want to get involved because he's retired, though. But after that incident at the bar, Kevin Dunn, he plays a police officer who also knows Steven Seagal. His character's name is John Hatcher. Kevin Dunn knows John Hatcher. Of course, Kevin Dunn, from starring in Godzilla and among other films as well, Small Soldiers, same year, 1998, with Godzilla. So, Small Soldiers, Beethoven's Second. But yeah, I like Kevin Dunn as well. And so he plays a cop. He appears every now and then. But then since that during the incident of bar fights, he's now been marked for death. They put this symbol at his sister's house. And they shoot her house up, and then Danielle Harris gets injured, and then she puts in the hospital, and then she just disappears after that. And then afterwards, then his sister gets assaulted. They're about to do the ritual thing and then kill her before Seagal steps in. So him and Keith David are now going to go after these guys. Like the guy has a building somewhere far away, somewhere out, and they get another friend of theirs, who is also a Jamaican as well, who a good guy though, to help him out. Yeah, Charles' name. Charles. So I want to get that character's right. So they have another friend of theirs named Charles to help them out. So they fly. They fly to. Well, first before that, they chase some other Jamaicans in their car, and they go to this big jewelry store, and Steven Seagal, kicking ass, taking names as usual. Just sticks a knife right here, or throws a guy over glass cases, whatever. But I did like the fisticuff fight scenes. And then until later, when they get prepared to get all the weapons they need, they go to Jamaica, where the Screwface lives, and this Steven Seagal fortunately gets the upper hand on Screwface. First cuts him in his nuts, and then eventually just cutting his head off. So after that, they go back to America for another where some other drug dealers are hanging out, and they say that your Screwface is dead. They show him his decapitated head, and then Charles he gets stabbed through because there's another Screwface, which is actually an identical twin, basically. And you get a very good fight, I would say, between him and Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal, he gets beat up a little bit in this movie, so he's not fully, invincible. How he takes any cuts or bruises, whatever. So, Screwface is shoving him into glass cases where the liquor bottles are, but then and then it's what I wish that this is Seagal that I miss. Like I said before at the end in the previous video of Fire Down Below. I miss that old Seagal where he just goes full on savage on bad guys, And this guy gets the worst, because first with Screwface, he gets his eyes gouged out. Okay, and then he gets impaled. Actually, no. He gets he breaks his back. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. First, he gets his eyes gouged out, and then he gets his back broken, and then he goes and tosses him down an elevator shaft, and he gets impaled on the not the cables, but some metal that was in the middle of the shaft, and so he gets impaled by that. And then Seagal says, "Hope there weren't any triplets," or no, where he gets confronted by all those Jamaican cartels, where he says, leave this building or die. So that's some fun dialogue from Steven Seagal. So, and then after that's like I was like, hope there weren't triplets. Him and Keith David walk outside while Seagal carries his friend Charles' body. So yeah, after that, like I said, and that's basically the end of the movie. So like I said, like the credits with to the other one, Fire Down. Well, there was no credits in that movie, but for like again though, I must suppose remember where I guess, but I forget that part. But I still enjoy the movie. I think that Steven Seagal did a good job, and then there's another part that I didn't understand. Why would they put this in here? Like this part right here, where this truck is done like a wheelie. I think that was one of Spielberg's films, which this scene was in this, but this scene was not in the movie at all, though. Which I don't know why they an extra glass. So, but yeah, I was like, okay, does that a wheelie? I mean, we saw that in The Dark Knight, though, but there was a cable that made it go flying through upside down. But Steven Seagal still did fine. Paul Rudd. Why I said I'm getting confusing. This is why I'm starting to say other things. Paul Rudd. I was referring to freaking Ant-Man. My apologies there. But I meant to say was Basil Wallace as Screwface. I think he did a good job as the bad guy. I think he as an intimidating villain, him and his voodoo aspects and those eyes he has. I still think he did a good job as the bad guy, and playing twins as well, which that was a funny joke. Danielle Harris, nice to see her. Keith David, I've always enjoyed. He never gives a bad performance, so he did a good job in this movie. And then the other ones. Like the score by James Newton Howard was good. Cameo appearance. You say by these paramedics or by the ones who enjoy the film though. And the fights I've enjoyed, I also enjoyed as well. Like in this jewelry store, like he's tossing people through people's windows and then through glass cases, and then when he kills the bad guys first, he uses for the first twin, used his sword to cut his nuts off, and then stabs him here, and then finally in this film, fights some cops, because they want him out, but he refuses. I saw and Chris Christopherson. I think they him and what was it? I forget. But I think both of them did a good job in the movie. But yeah, I enjoyed Marked for Death. I see Kevin Dunn in it as well, along with who was the other one? As a Keith David, like I say, never gives a bad performance. But yeah, I still enjoy Marked for Death. Some good bad guys, score, good action scenes. And plus, Mark Hellenberg, I thought she was a good love interest for Seagal. But well. But yeah, that's my review for Loki, which season 2 is going to come out probably soon, maybe. But I don't really care for it though. I already watched it because of the appearance of Kang. But regardless of that, I still enjoyed Marked for Death. Still a very fun, solid film. But anyway, yeah. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review, and we'll see you next time. Later.